What's up, everybody? It is time again, after some time off, to start recording again. Still not back to 100%, but I'll never be 100%. I always say that I live somewhat comfortably around 80-85% at this point. I am hovering right around 75%. Um, and considering where I started, when I ended up at the doctor, I was at like 40%. So I feel a lot better, hence why I'm starting to record things again. With that said, I'm going to record this here Powerbomb Podcast, and we are going to cover events that happened while I've been laid up. That would be the NXT takeover from Toronto, the Survivor Series from Toronto, and the TLC pay-per-views. So let's get right into it. Match that opened a show at Takeover was Bobby Roode, Ty Dillinger. I thought this was a really excellent opener. It was the most intense and the best I've ever in my history of seeing Ty Dillinger in all his incarnations, whether it was Shawn Spears, Gavin Spears, in WWE. This is the best that he has looked ever to me. And Bobby Roode, of course, is Bobby Roode, completely and totally in control of everything he does. One of the best wrestlers on NXT's roster right now. I would so anticipate sometime in 2017 a call-up for him. And probably a call-up for Dillinger too. And both of them, if they get called up, it is well deserved. Next we have the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Classic Final. The Authors of Pain and Team 6-1 were in this one. I thought going in that this was going to end up being a total squash because I thought Authors of Pain were going to run through Miller and Thorne. It wasn't a total squash, but AOP were dominant, and there was a spot where I think it was Miller that might have been Thorne though. Yeah, I think it was Thorne now I think about it. Did a backflip off of a thrust or off of a truss that's connected to the ring onto one of the Authors of Pain. That was just unbelievable. And then both of these guys have strength that I never knew, because the Authors of Pain guys got away 350 each if they're an ounce. And Miller and Thorne at one point were throwing them around like they were in cruiserweights. So, and Authors of Pain won the match, won the tournament, which I expected, but I didn't expect it to be as, even as it was. But in that same respect, AOP was still dominant. Let's see, next. Next is Revival and DIY for the NXT tag titles. This match was definitely a love letter to old school tag team professional wrestling. I love what these four guys do in there with each other. The chemistry is undeniable. Again, four more guys that I would anticipate sometime in 2017 seeing on the main roster, and they would be welcome additions to either one or of the two tag team scenes, or if you wanted to split them up and put one team on one show and one team on the other, that's cool with me too. These guys know what they're doing, and they've all earned it. And DIY finally wins the big one, takes home in tag straps. Another thing I kind of noticed about this one is um, the WWE around Survivor Series time, ever since '97, just can't resist the old sharpshooter spot. Just kind of as an homage. I kind of noticed that. Um, it was an incredible match. It was 2 out of 3 falls. Revival or DIY won 2 falls to 1. Um, after that, we had Mickie James and Asuka again. I thought this was going to be a run through for Asuka just because, while Mickey's great, she hasn't been around, and they're running the storyline that Asuka's cleaned out the women's division. And this was a lot closer than I thought. And they worked well together. I thought the match was really well done. Mickie proved that she can still go, which I never had a doubt that she couldn't. And I was just glad to see the match. And to know that Mickie got a multi-year deal to come back, which I believe starts sometime in January, off of this, it's just awesome because, it just deepens whatever women's division she goes to, and, lends more experience to, the ones that, are young and still kind of learning their way around. So, awesome. Asuka keeps the belt, but the story that was told was excellent. Also, Mickie actually had Asuka in legit trouble at one point, and nobody in the year plus that she's been undefeated has had Asuka in any type of legit trouble. So, it's just awesome to see. The Joe and Nakamura main event for the NXT title. Let's see. It's coming up here. My phone's being a bitch. Sorry about that. This one had a very strong style, New Japan Pro Wrestling type of feel to it. Again, with these two guys, that's definitely, I think, the vibe they were going for, and they delivered. Not everybody can win or can work that style. So that, just kudos to both guys because it's a very, hard hitting, stiff style, and there's not a lot of people working these days that would A, be able to work that style, and B, want to work that style. So very great, very great match. Joe wins and takes the title. And by now, because my notes say I can't wait for match 3, by now they probably had match 4 or 5. So, Joe dropped the title back to Nakamura in Japan recently. And I haven't heard anything about their match in Melbourne, Australia, which is supposed to be aired on the NXT show that I'm going to watch after this gets done recording. Final thoughts on TakeOver. What a night. Everybody on the show worked hard. There was not a bad match on the card. Everything was good to excellent, and really the high end of good. You could almost say everything was great to excellent. Everybody was up for the show. And you could tell it was a big fight feel, which, you know, um, a lot of times I get more up for the takeover specials than I do for the actual pay-per-views they precede. So um, that should tell you something. All right, now we're gonna get on to Survivor Series. First match of the day of the pay-per-view was on the pre-show. It was Noam Dar, Rich Swann, T.J. Perkins versus Arya Daivari, Drew Gulak, and Tony Nese. And this, to me, was a great way to open the show and, warm up the crowd. These 6 guys, you put them together, all 6 guys wrestle different styles. So you see a little bit of everything. You see the high flying, you see technical, you see strong style like you did at TakeOver with Joe and Nakamura. You see, chain wrestling. You see, these 6 guys, to me, envision what the cruiserweight division could, should, and probably will end up being. There were spots in the match where it was a spot fest, and that's where you get your high flying into the match. There were spots where it was a good technical match, and there were spots where it was strong style. So they showcased each guy's style, and I thought they did really well. And also, I thought it was a great preview at that point for the 205 Live show that is specifically to feature the cruiserweights. So that's pretty awesome. And Dar, TJP, and Swanee get the W. The second pre-show match, because pre-show was fucking 2 hours long, and pay-per-view itself was over 4 hours. So, but the second was Kane and Harper. This was filler. This was strictly filler, just because the pre-show is 2 hours and nobody wants to listen to fucking Booker T talk for 2 hours. It was fine for what it was. Just like your standard throwaway Raw match. And really, Kane deserves better than that. For everything he's done in the past 20, 25 years, he deserves better than that, than to be on the kickoff. But that's just me. Then we get into the pay-per-view. It started out with the Raw women versus the SmackDown women in the traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5. Right off the bat, the angle to take Nikki out of the match better lead to somewhere good, because if it doesn't, it's just a bullshit angle. And it really did. And early on, it seemed to be a Nia showcase because she dominated everybody. Not everybody, everybody. Raw wins though, as Bayley and Charlotte survive, and at the end, Charlotte beats the shit out of Bayley, and claims it's because she stole her spotlight. This is probably going to set up a Bayley Charlotte feud, which is okay by me. Next, you had Miz and Sami Zayn. It was for the Intercontinental title. If Zayn wins, the Intercontinental title goes to um, Raw. And to me, Miz doesn't get nearly enough credit for being as good as he really is. That dude can do it all. He does whatever you ask him to do. He's good in the ring. He's good on mic. He's, good at media stuff. He just doesn't get the credit I feel like he should. And it's sad. The match itself was just great. There's nothing that really stood out just because these two, while they have great chemistry, there were no spots that made me say, oh my god, and made me oh, I want to talk about that. But the match was great because they have undeniable chemistry, and the Maurice being involved in the majority of Miz's finishes are bullshit because I feel like Miz can do it on his own. But that's the story they want to tell, and it's a story I feel like has been told too much with people, not just him, but with people with managers and valets and shit. I feel like that's a storyline that's been done to death. And Miz kept the title. Next, we had the SmackDown tag teams and the Raw tag teams go at it. Coming into this, I didn't know what to make of the Shining Stars, but I thought that they showed themselves really well. They got their shit in, which is what matches like these are meant for. Meant for everybody to try to get their shit in, so people know who they are. And with 20 guys out there, it was bound to be a clusterfuck, and it was, because there were 20 guys, and there's no way that a match with 20 guys involved cannot be a clusterfuck. There's no way that can't happen. That can't not happen. Raw wins as Sheamus and Sheamus and Cesaro survive. Next we had Kalisto and the Brian Kendrick for the Cruiserweight title. If Kalisto won Cruiserweights and the Cruiserweight title would go to SmackDown. I don't make any apologies for the fact that I love Kalisto. I always have, always will. You hate me for that? Fuck you. Alright? Both of these guys can go, but Kalisto and Brian Kendrick, they can both go in the ring. I don't question that. I love both guys, but they just don't have chemistry together. Matches seem to step off. Doesn't mean it was a bad match, because it wasn't. But they just seem to step off. And there are guys that you have situations like that where people on paper it looks like it should be a good matchup, but they get in a ring, and while the match is good, the chemistry is just shits. So, and it's nothing on either one of them. You just don't have chemistry with everybody you're in the ring with. Let's see. That's a stark contrast to what I talked about with Miz and Sami Zayn, because they had a chemistry that was undeniable. I could watch those two wrestle each other all day, every day, twice on Sunday for the rest of my life, and not get tired. I love the fact that Kalisto is given an opportunity, um, and he's taking advantage of it. He's been get, he's been this has been a good year for Kalisto because he's been a U.S. champion 3 times, or like 2 or 3 times. He has been in his feud with Baron Corbin and showed himself well. Um, you know, I didn't expect for him to come out on top in the feud, but he got a lot more um, in the feud as a whole than I would have ever expected. I'm glad to see him taking advantage of the opportunity that he's being given, and can't wait to see what's ahead of him in 2017. And the finish of this match, Kalisto is about to win the title, and uh, Baron Corbin comes in and tries to interfere, gets knocked off the apron, and Kalisto turns into, Captain's Hook and taps out. Brian Kendrick gets the title. Good match. Um, like I said, good match. Wasn't a bad match. They just don't have chemistry. But I do like the fact that it did this in a loss. It did advance the Baron Corbin Kalisto storyline that was going on. So that's awesome. And because Kendrick wins, the Cruiserweight division and Cruiserweights stay on Raw. Next we had the Raw guys versus the SmackDown guys, and seeing the Shield reunion was cool, but some of the steam was taken out of it for me because I was told about it before it happened, and I'll get more into this, or before I saw it, and I'll get more into this in a couple of minutes. But it was still cool to see. I just didn't lose my shit like I was hoping I would be able to. When Ellsworth held Braun's foot to eliminate him, I kind of chuckled a little bit because, same thing kind of happened to Maven in the 2002 Royal Rumble after he eliminated the Taker. Taker came back and just destroyed him. Ellsworth got fucking destroyed by Braun. Let's see. And that bump from the spear off of the Van Terminator that Shane took, his head literally bounced off the mat. Oh my god. Holy shit. How he survived that, I do not know. And if that was just a sell job, everybody sold it well. The referee, Shane, the referee, everybody involved sold that well. If that was a sell job, outstanding. Then, oh yeah, SmackDown wins because Bray and Orton survive. Last but not least is Lesnar Goldberg. Now this one, I didn't have a problem with because all of Goldberg's matches back in his heyday in WCW were less than 3 minutes. This, I timed it from bell to bell, was 1 minute and 26 seconds. 96 seconds, or 86 seconds. And you know what? I didn't really have a problem with that because that's what he does. And it sets up for later, for another match down the line, probably at Mania, because I think they're going to end up canceling each other out of the Rumble. So they're going to set them up for Mania, I think, which is going to be cool. Um, but yeah, I don't have any problem with that. Goldberg won. I loved it. I jumped out of my seat for it. Um, so yeah, that was that. Final thoughts. I thought the pay-per-view itself was pretty good. The matches that had to deliver did, um, and the ones that were um, put there to fill a spot on the card, um, even they did. Uh, they were good. There wasn't a bad match on the card. Like I said, there were some chemistry issues with some guys, but I don't think that the matches were bad because of it. Now for the little mini rant I was telling you about earlier. Y'all know I don't mind spoilers. Um, Never have, never will. But what I do mind is if somebody, and this is what I ask of everybody, if somebody sees something on a wrestling show that they think to themselves, oh, Mikey knows this, Mikey watches this. If he sees this, he is going to lose his shit. Don't tell me about that particular moment, because when I see it, if you think I'm gonna lose my shit, I probably will. And when you tell me about moments like that, it kind of takes the steam. I mean, yeah, it's still cool, but it took the steam out of it for me. And I wasn't really cool with that. That was just not cool. Um, you know, I don't mind spoilers, but if you see moments in shows or whenever that I may legitimately lose my shit over, don't take that from me. Don't rob that. Don't rob me of that. All right, next one, and this is the last one I'm gonna review for this podcast. We got the TLC pay-per-view. There's a 10-man cruiserweight tag. All right, no, it was 10-man tag with tag team. Sorry about that. Um, and it was good. I didn't make many notes about this one, but it was a good match for a crowd warmer. It was definitely could have been better, but could have been a lot worse too. Um, First match of the pay-per-view, Wyatt versus Heath and Rhino, um, was for the tag titles. It went quick, and um, this was basically a squash for the Wyatt family. They win the tag belts, and um, I thought that this served its purpose. It got the new Wyatt family over huge, and I thought that the commentary team um, sold it perfectly. Nikki and Carmelo was actually pretty good, I thought, for a no DQ match. Uh, Nothing to write home about though. But you don't see, you know, you don't see women in any type of stipulation matches usually. So um, it's good to see them actually get to work a stipulation match and prove they can actually do it. It was a pretty good match. Um, you know, Definitely the stipulation, the no DQ stipulation helped it. Because if it didn't have that stipulation, it would just be another throwaway. Um, Liz and Dolph were next, and these guys, I talked about chemistry earlier. These guys went out there and they did what they do. The chemistry between these two guys is off the charts good. I thought that it was really well done. The story was told really well, and um, the match, at least to me, was damn near perfect. And if I pick anything apart, I'd just be nitpicking, so I'm not going to do that. Nice was damn near perfect, though. Just amazing chemistry. Next, we had Corbin and Kalisto in a chairs match. This, to me, was awesome just because I didn't expect Kalisto going in to get as much as he did. I thought Corbin was just going to run through his ass, to be honest with you. And he really didn't. It was a seesaw battle back and forth, and that made me very, very happy because I love both guys. I think that this was a case where the loss did more of a benefit to Kalisto than a win may have. Also, he wore new kind of bluish teal biker short gear that I love, which that's just me. Next, we had Alexa and Becky for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was a match where I won either way because I love both of these girls. I feel like I've said that a lot in this podcast, but it's true. And damn it, I ain't apologizing for it. I went in thinking that Becky had to go over because Alexa had been, booked so strong through this entire feud. Becky actually went into the match, in my mind, as the underdog because Alexa was booked so strong. And while I'm happy because I win either way that Alexa wins the title, I would have liked to have seen Becky come out with it just because of the way that the feud was booked. The AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose match was awesome. I don't know what more I can say about that. There are not enough superlatives to use for that. But the finish where, James Ellsworth comes out and pushes AJ or Dean off the ladder, and the subsequent explanation on Talking Smack afterwards was complete and total bullshit. Okay? First of all, that finish has been done to death, and I give him credit for trying to give an explanation as to, have him give Ellsworth the explanation as to why he did it, but that's a bullshit explanation. The show was good. I thought everything was on the high end of good to great. I probably would have put the Miz Ziggler spot match in the main event, if I'm honest with you, and put the AJ Dean match above it. But either way, if you swap out those two spots on those two matches at the top of your card, that's probably a better representation of how the show should have been booked or should have been stacked. But this is just armchair quarterbacking on my part, and that has now officially been the latest and greatest Powerbomb Podcast. I am going to do another one when Roadblock, which is Sunday. I don't know when that's going to get recorded, but I'm going to do it. And try to get it out to you guys as soon as I can. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for supporting and fostering the creativity that I try to bring you guys. Without y'all, there wouldn't be any me. So I appreciate everything from the bottom of my heart. I love y'all, and I hope that everybody has has a great holiday and is good to each other. Again, I love y'all. I'll talk to you guys soon, and peace.